Hello, everybody. This is Pens and Things. I'm Denise. I do a lot of pin back buttons, so let's get to the video. Okay, welcome. This is actually my first video. My business and Pinback Buttons has been getting a lot more business, so I'm grateful for that. And I have gotten a lot of questions about what techniques do I use to keep the buttons in place. Here are some of the buttons that I'm doing right now. I have this really nice breast cancer awareness. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm doing a lot of these buttons lately. And so just a little bit of my technique is, I know a lot of people use the machines that cut these buttons out yourself, but I prefer to cut them myself. That's just how I like to do them. I take my time and I just go around them and I cut them out myself. So give me a moment and I'll be back. Here we go. Here is the cutout button, and she is beautiful. I get a lot of my pictures and designs from Etsy, but I do add a lot of different things to them, and a lot of them I do make myself, the designs. These are some from Etsy though, but I did add more butterflies and more ribbons on some of them to change it up a little bit. When you do go on Etsy and you buy anything from designs, SVG packages, make sure you look at the licensing on all those pictures. So once you have everything cut out, like I said, I do sometimes use a cutter, but sometimes I don't get the right cut, so I'm gonna keep trying to use them until I'm gonna keep, cutting with the scissors until I'm able to perfect that cutting machine that I see a lot of pinback button professionals use. But here, how I actually, my technique for putting the buttons together is basically I use double-sided tape. I take a little small piece of tape, and of course you're going to need your pinback buttons, the back. You're going to need this part where your actual design was going to attach itself to, and mylar. So I think I have enough. Yeah, I have enough. So I take a piece of double-sided tape. I just put it right in the middle. Make sure it's on there. Take one of the designs. It doesn't matter which way you put it. Lay it down. Try to get it to lay flat. And you have to eyeball it. For me, I like mine to be absolutely straight. So I eyeball it. You want to make sure all sides around the circle is pretty even all around. Okay. And these buttons that I'm making for breast cancer are for friends and family and for different organizations who has put in orders. And I just really love doing pinback buttons. It's like a stress reliever. It's more than a hobby. It's something that I really truly love to do. I love designing these, and I'd like to really make them my own. Okay, if you can see, I kind of got it around the edge, pretty even around the edge. Hopefully you can see that, okay? Now we got it around the edge pretty even. So now I go over to my machine and I get a backing, put it in there. Then here you want to make sure it's pretty straight when you put it in there. Pretty straight. And then what I like to do, these get so much dust and things on there. So what I like to do, I like to just do a quick little cleaning of them off the side. You know, just cleaning. You can get a little fiber towel and just clean it off a little bit. And I lay it on there. Now, the tape keeps the design on this part, on your metal part, on there, and it keeps it still. So now you can move it around inside your machine and it won't move its position. Because sometimes when I was starting out doing buttons, I was coming up with issues where a lot of my buttons were shifting in the process of actually assembling the buttons. So now I do it with a little bit of double-sided tape. No, it doesn't bother the design. It doesn't change anything about the button. It's just better for you because it keeps the paper in place. All right, so we pretty much have that in there pretty straight, like how I think I would like to see it. Make sure it's down. Pull it down for a few seconds. Now it's time for the backing. All right. And look at that. Awesome. The button is nice, perfect. Exactly how I wanted it to come out. All the edges are even. It's not shifted to one side or the other. It's right in the middle. And you can't tell about the tape. It doesn't change the button. It looks really, really good. I love it. This is my technique. I use it for all my buttons. And pretty much for the most part, all of them come out just like this. Pretty straight. Really good. I love him. So let's do this one. This one, on my buttons when I design, I always put a layer, a circle around them, because when you punch them down, I like to have decoration around it too. You know, it just gives your buttons a little bit more than having a contrast of just the plain white paper around there. I like to have it cohesive. So that's why I put the extra. And you're going to see when we do her. So same technique. Get that. Get the double-sided tape. Okay. Oh. Come on, tape. Work with me. Put it right there in the middle. Make sure it's flat. Make sure you don't have any bubbles or anything. You're going to do the same thing. Flip her over. And we're going to put this straight down. Let's see. Now, it does take time and patience to make sure. You have to eyeball it. But once you get started, when you get, know, familiar with doing this technique, you're gonna go fly through your buttons. You're gonna fly through, and you're gonna have less do-overs. You're gonna have less do-overs when you do that. All right, you're gonna press it down. Let's see. How does that look? Pretty even around there. Let's see, get a close up. All right. It looks pretty good, but I think I have a tad bit more over here. So all I do, pull it up some and reposition. And it's pretty good to look over it to see what you're doing. It helps so you can see everything that is around to make sure. All right, it looks pretty good. And sometimes I like to do this test to see if it's more on one side, and see there is more on this side. So take it. And I know some people are like, why don't you just put it in the machine? I don't have good luck when I do that. I want to make sure my picture is going to be dead set in the center and that it don't move. You know, some people are lucky. They can just put the metal piece in there, sit it down, put the picture on there, put your top part on there, your mylar, and then assemble it. But and everything be in one spot. But for me, I need a little assurance. I like to make sure everything is good, especially if you're going to be selling these buttons to people. You want to make sure they look good. That is for sure. You want to make sure they look good. So it looks pretty good now. And this part takes time, but roll with it, roll with it. It looks pretty good. Sometimes I'll turn it over. I'll do this test, bend the sides back and see where it will look like it will lay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah. All right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our backing in here. Make sure your backing is straight. Design and the metal piece. I'm gonna make sure she's straight in here. See, that's why I like, because I can move it around and make sure she's straight. And once I have her in that, have the button in the spot that I want, I know the paper isn't going anywhere because my double-sided tape has it secure. So once I do that, I put my top. Look, check it and make sure it looks good. Here. And then get the other side. And there she goes. I love it. And so on the corners, I always do this to all my buttons. They will always have decorations, even though you're not really going to see them, but I just like to do a full finished product around here. And looks good. So these are the two we just did. We just did these two. I have these two that I need to do for one of my customers, and I'm gonna go ahead and get these done. But let me show you some of the buttons that I have currently. I also have this, Together We Fight. Yeah, I like that one. Also, Warriors Wear Pink. We also have Breast Cancer Survivor. I'm Still Standing, I'm a Survivor. And I love this one. I love it. Breast cancer picked a fight with the wrong woman. A lot of ladies love this one too. I love it myself. And this little beauty. And it says, breast cancer won't take my peace. Real pretty. So, this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. This was my first one. I just wanted to show my technique that I use double-sided tape. I know a lot of YouTubers who do pinback buttons have their techniques, but this is the one that helps me, and I get great results after each pin. Great results after each pin. I haven't had any problems with shifting while in the process of assembling. Or anything like that. If you have any questions, please drop them below. I would try to answer. If you have questions about pinback buttons, I would love to hear your questions. I would love to reach out. Just let me know. So, thank you again for stopping by. I'm Denise, and this is Pins and Things.